Hey, welcome to the video. My name is Tyler McNamer and I will be your host. And I got a good question for you. Is this a bit too much? The sunglasses, the coffee thing, and the tweet. Yeah, I don't really want to embarrass myself too much. So here, let me just put this aside and also take these off. Put that to a side. There. Now it's not as embarrassing. Except maybe I need a haircut and I need a shave and probably need a different form of clothing, but we'll do this one for now. So this topic today is going to be all about embarrassment and more specifically, how to cope and handle embarrassment. You see, little known fact about the world of autism is that a lot of folks with it, they feel like they would make embarrassing mistakes, or they would easily feel very embarrassed extremely easily. So what do we do? So, for example, what is embarrassment? What's this all about? So embarrassment, the way I define it, is more of an emotional response, more like a survival instinct of avoiding anything that's either out of the ordinary or that you might make people feel uncomfortable. There's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling embarrassed. It's a survival instinct. It's just how it is, NonConcept too. Now, of course, there's ways for survival instinct, and then there's also the kind of embarrassment that you would definitely feel that things would happen, and you feel like you want to avoid that at all costs. And sometimes that can be not so healthy. What do I mean? What do I mean by that? Well, for example, I'll give you a really good demonstration because that just happened recently. That this morning when I was showering in my shower, I decided to scream the lyrics from AC/DC, and I didn't realize that my mom was still in the house, and I also didn't realize that. Well, actually, I kind of forgot that I still live in the middle of a triplex, so I most likely woke up the neighbors and probably scared the children. So that's really so I felt kind of embarrassed about that. So what do I do? What did I do to avoid that and not go through the entire day feeling embarrassed about yourself? Well, number one, you take a big, long, deep breath. And probably seen the AC/DC lyrics. No, I'm just joking. No, deep. So you gotta have a deep breath. Just think to yourself. It's like, oh man, I did something I probably shouldn't have. Of course, there's nothing wrong with singing and all that stuff too. And we'll get to that part in a little bit. Deep breaths, and you got to think. Okay, they probably are very forgiving people, and I'll just not do that anymore, or at least not do that when everyone's still going off and it's still a weekday and all that kind of thing too. So the part where I said, hey, there's nothing wrong with singing and singing heavy rock music and all that kind of stuff too. You can still do that, maybe in the comfort of your house when you're not in the middle of triplexes, or all by yourself, like you can do it in the woods, or out in the desert, or just somewhere where you feel like you're very comfortable in that kind of way too, either by yourself or with others. For example, a karaoke bar. You can sing at karaoke, or sing with others, or at a party. There are always very alternatives way of doing these things without ever feeling embarrassment. And that's what we go for. And that's what we go for when it comes to these things that we feel like that we really want to do, but we're afraid of embarrassment. NonConcept too, like singing and dancing, and maybe even playing guilty pleasure video games, or listening to guilty pleasure music. That stuff is totally okay. And sometimes you feel like you can do it on certain times, either by yourself or with others that may have the similar interests in all these kind of things too. So like the old saying that goes, there's a time and place for everything. And that's definitely true when it comes to these kind of things. I will say that Population One and Becoming One has a good share of a very embarrassing choices that I have made, and I had to live with them. The reason why I want to write these choices, or write down these these moments is because, for one, it made me feel a lot better. It made me feel like, it's like, yeah, it happens, and I just wanted to share a story about that. Number two, I like to laugh at myself during these choices too. I was like, oh man, thinking back, that was kind of silly, concept too. Sometimes it's about the attitude that you have with these embarrassing choices. It's like certain things where it's like, it's kind of a bit too silly, and you just have to look back and laugh at it too. Because little known secrets, boys and girls, is that a lot of people here, come on. A lot of people tend to forget about these embarrassing choices that people have made, especially when it comes to social situations and all that kind of stuff too. It's like yeah, you made a mistake, but that was over 20 years ago, and people have like to move on and kind of like to forget, and a lot of people, as a matter of fact, would think the best on others. Non-concept too. Especially when you were kids, you were children. Children make these little embarrassing choices, and now that you're grown adults, you make better choices. You matured, and you probably don't make these childish mistakes again. And people tend to forget and also forgive. So keep in mind that. And also I'm kind of making a mental note on myself too, because unfortunately sometimes that's what I kind of do as well. Sometimes I forget that people would forget, if that even makes any sense too. So that's why you gotta remind yourself now stuff too. And that goes for the next part of embarrassment too. Is I get questions a lot about what triggers these embarrassing mistakes. So not just the embarrassing parts that happens right on its present, but what happens in the future? Concept too. There's a little thing that when it comes to autism where people, they would look at a certain building or a certain location, maybe even a certain object, or especially a certain person, and they start to getting these flashback attacks about those moments where they embarrass themselves at that one moment. Say, for example, high school. When you pass by the high school, these little embarrassing attacks starts rushing in, and it gets a little tricky sometimes too. It's like this self-pity and discipline. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just did that, even if it happened like 10 years ago or something like that too. Sometimes these things kind of happen. So what do we do? What do we do to manage that? Sometimes we do need to handle these moments. So let's get back to deep breaths. Just constantly remind yourself that happened a long time ago. I know it sucked. I know you probably wish you could go back in time and do things a lot differently. And as much as I and maybe you as well want to go back, unfortunately we just can't. Right now we just need to focus on the present and the future. So deep breath. Just remind yourself it was a long time ago, and how do you want to fix these things with today? You can fix these things by doing the opposite of what you did before. It's kind of like one of those classic to return or to give concept too. You want to better yourself based on what these happens too. Sometimes even when they happen a long time ago concept too. Like maybe even with a high school reunion, which this year I'm planning on going to my high school reunion. That's right, class of 2013. It was a good year, and the way I want to do it is I don't want to go back into those embarrassing moments, but instead I'm going to do something a lot differently. What I'm going to do is I just want to just not think about those moments. I just want to think about the present. I just want to be happy that I get to see familiar faces once more. I want to be happy to talk about the good things that have happened since we left high school, and because I don't really would speak for a lot of people, but I'm sure there are people out there that would rather talk about their futures out of high school. So you want So that's what I kind of want to do. I just wanted to just talk about what's been going on, and most importantly, I want to talk to other students and other kids what they've been doing up to. It's all about because remember, it's not about you. It's about them, and you want to. It's all about humbleness about these things too. You don't want to go back into these embarrassing moments because they're about you. You just want to make sure that you want to be humble and talk about them, and also just to also understand just what's best for them and all concept too. And that also goes for the part two where those embarrassing choices, why they became in the first place, mostly because of what other people think, kind of thing too. So so these what other people think. I know it can be really hard. The way I kind of define it is whenever the embarrassing choices kind of come like right there and right present, the pain of embarrassment would probably last around 24 to 48 hours. You would start feeling pain. You're just being tortured of what people think of you, and even think of yourself. It's a really hard feeling. I totally understand. It's all concept too. So you have to take the moment to get all your system. Just sometimes you even talk about what you feel. It's like I did something that I was definitely not proud of, and all concept too. Just talk about it with your parents, or especially with your teachers, and all concept too. Teachers, they just want to help, and even your parents on content too. And having the right mindset of knowing that it was an embarrassing choice. That's a really good sign. That way it's just all about knowing what's appropriate and what's not so appropriate. So when you did something embarrassing and you feel bad about it, good job. It's you gotta celebrate a little when it comes to that too. Just know that you know what's good and what's not so good. It's a good feeling. Like I said before, feeling embarrassed is not a terrible thing. You gotta know how to use it and use it properly and all kind of thing too. And that also goes with also embracing your unique self. I'm not the kind of person that say you have to do this or you have to do that to avoid embarrassment and all that kind of stuff too. Because I always believe that you also need to celebrate your unique self, and that's why we always go back to the more humble parts and all that kind of stuff too. I've seen quite a bit of things relating to autism where people they would say I am this way and you have to live with it, you have to deal with it, and all that kind of stuff too. It's kind of like they're it's like I'm unique, and everyone else needs to learn with it and all that kind of stuff too. But that's not what we want to do. It's like, of course you want to celebrate your uniqueness, and you want to celebrate your what makes you you. But the way I want to do it, the way we want to do it in Autismworks is that we want to be humble about non-concept too. It's like just say, hey, I really like this stuff. It personally makes me happy. Non-concept thing too. Like if there's a certain music that you like, or maybe a video game that you probably think that's probably not as popular as what people are playing, or books and that kind of thing too. What makes you personally stand out from the masses? What makes you stand out from the bunch in our concept too? Especially when you have your favorite clothing or your favorite drinks in our concept too. It's just what makes you. Especially with that, and without being too standoffish in our concept too, for that kind of thing. And I do believe that it can work. There's always these groups, and these like either online or offline that makes you feel comfortable with these areas too. Like for example, I personally enjoy sire, so I discovered that there's a new sire house nearby, and that's when we get to find your group, find your uniqueness that you can feel comfortable to be around, and also share with others, where others can share their uniqueness with you as well. You're never alone. There's always somewhere someone out there that may have very similar interests to you, maybe even to a certain band that maybe you probably think that you're the only one that knows, but maybe there might be someone out there in the world that knows the same exact band as you too. Just never know unless you just go out and go explore. and it just goes in when you do that, you don't really feel too embarrassed. So the importance of self-advocacy. So to communicate with these needs and preferences, and for example, like I enjoy singing here and there too, and then kind of got carried away this morning in the shower. So how would I do it? Well, I should just look into singing groups or something like that too, online or offline, or find karaoke bars, or just find a good place for you to just let loose and go sing when you're not surrounded by neighbors. It's like sure, you want to put on a show, but there's always a time and place to put on a show, and it's the way I kind of see it is that if you want to stand out and be unique, there's always good ways to it, and also more importantly is that it is always definitely worth the wait, especially when you're going on stage and giving keynote events too. It'll be definitely worth the wait, and you get to be yourself without being too standoffish, and most importantly, being humble about it as well, because that's what goes in for that concept too. Of course, embarrassing moments can't happen, and I can guarantee you that I will make some plenty more embarrassing choices or embarrassing mistakes that I probably would think, oh man, I should have done this. Like sometimes I even grew up with a stutter and all that kind of stuff too, and it's just working hard, and not to fumble your lines and all that kind of stuff too, and they will happen, and that's why I always say, straightforward is when you fail forward. Yeah, that's all it is. When you fail forward. Not if you fail, but when you fail forward. That's exactly what we're going to work on. So my challenge for you is simply this. List off the things that you feel that is more unique for yourself. Just write down in the comment section below where it's like, what do you think that could be like a guilty pleasure of yours, whether it be music or video games or movies, and stuff that you probably think that the vast majority of people would not be too familiar with, but holds a really special place in your heart. Let's talk about it now, concept too. I know I've got a bunch of stuff on my end that maybe a lot of people haven't really heard about, and sometimes it's kind of nice to talk about. It's like, hey, check this out. This is one thing I really enjoy. Check this out, that kind of thing too. It's all about the tries and all that kind of thing too. And another challenge I also challenge you is write down ways that you personally handle embarrassing choices. It's always good to know the see, look at that, I'm fumbling my lines again. There you have it. See, that was embarrassing. But find the ways that you handle embarrassment too. Like I said before, with when you feel embarrassed and it's wrong, that's when you know what's appropriate and not so appropriate. So give yourself a break. Just don't go so hard on yourself. All right, it's going to be okay. I know it hurts, and you gotta know how to recover, as they probably can say. It's gotta keep moving forward. As when you fail forward. So share some strategies on how you do with it, and remember, I know it hurts, but just gotta keep on going. All right, let's work on this together. All right, when you fail forward. Name's Tyler McNamer. Have a good night.